It can rocket to 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, top out at over 160 miles an hour, yet it has the same ownership cost, or maybe even a little bit lower than a Toyota Corolla. Hi, this is Joe from Scarff Ford, and today we're talking about this 2024 Model 3 Performance. Let's dive in. This is a beautiful example of a Model 3. We recently took it on trade. We actually took it on trade for a C8 Corvette. The gentleman traded in a Mustang Dark Horse in this Model 3 Performance. He really wanted a C8 Corvette. That C8 Corvette he bought was pretty sweet. It'd be a tough choice for me, but I don't know. I have a Tesla Model 3 myself. I have an older one, a 2019. But this one's a nearly new example of 2,869 miles. 2024 is a fantastic year for the Model 3 because it got a heavy refresh. You could almost call it like a redesign. And on top of that, we got a new version of the Model 3 Performance, which gives you a lot more gold-fast bits than the outgoing older version of the Model 3 Performance. So for 2024, we got a restyling on the outside, most noticeably a restyled front fascia. The rear end was also restyled. The interior was completely redesigned. New steering wheel, pretty much new everything on the interior. And with the Model 3 Performance, you get these exclusive sport bucket seats. On the old Model 3 Performance, visually the only difference really on the inside and outside was you got a more aggressive wheel and tire package. You could see the red brake calipers, a slightly lower suspension. Aside from that, and maybe like a little red line underneath the dual motor logo in the back, that was really the only visual difference between the Model 3 Performance and all the other Model 3s. Not that big of a difference. Well, the 2024 Model 3 Performance, it's distinctly different. The front fascia is styled differently. The rear is styled differently. You get these more aggressive bolstered seats. You have a more aggressive wheel and tire package. You get bigger brakes, and there's also changes you don't see on the inside or the outside. You have to look into the mechanics. Most notably, you get these adaptive dampers. These adaptive dampers really make a big difference. The older Model 3 Performance was great at going fast in a straight line, but if you read a lot of car magazine reviews, they would say, well, there is something to be desired in the cornering. They have rectified that with the redesigned Model 3 Performance with those adaptive dampers and the way they tune the suspension. This thing is just divine on curvy roads, or if you want to take it autocrossing on a track day, even more so. And the amazing thing about the Model 3 Performance, you get amazing performance statistics. This can go 0 to 60 pretty much on par with a M3 Competition rear-wheel drive, which costs about twice as much money. And on top of that, you're going to save a lot of money on gas versus electricity and on maintenance. You know, we're not going to compare a car like this to a Toyota Corolla or a Camry. You're going to compare this to a premium luxury sports sedan like the M3 Competition, Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG, stuff like that. All those cars, they require premium dealer maintenance. Big 30, 60, 90K services, full synthetic oil changes. And then on top of that, there are thousands of moving parts. Think about how complex the engine is in a M3 Competition. They're amazing. We actually have one for sale at the time of making this video. But there is a lot of mechanical bits, thousands of moving parts. You have forced induction, a lot of stuff to go wrong. Everything's fine and dandy when the vehicle is brand new, but once they get up in the miles, 80, 90, 100,000 miles, then that's when we see oil leaks, things going wrong. You need expensive repairs out of warranty at the dealership. Teslas are far simpler. EVs are far simpler. A battery and electric motor, there isn't that much to it. And on top of that, there's a lot of time before you're going to have to worry about, the batteries, the electric motors going bad. This has a balance of an 8-year, 125,000 mile warranty on the batteries and drive units. So you might not even own this vehicle anymore when the batteries and electric motors are out of warranty. On top of that, you have a balance of a 4-year, 50,000 mile warranty. Tesla actually tends to be fairly inexpensive when it comes to out of warranty repairs or things that are not covered. They have mobile repair. They'll come and change your wiper blades at your home or work, replace a cabin filter, do minor repairs, so you don't even need to go to the Tesla dealership. They'll come to you. I do it on my Model 3. I'll order new wiper blades. It's $30. For $30, they'll send a mobile repair person to your work or your home and replace your wiper blades. And you don't even need to go out there and talk to them. You can talk to them and pay for it all in the app. The Tesla app is a whole other thing. Teslas have a synergy to them that no other car has. You know, Tesla is not just a vehicle manufacturer, they're a tech company. And this is something that people don't realize. You know, car manufacturers are great at building mechanical cars, but this is a computer or robot on wheels. It might look like it has 4 wheels, a trunk, and a hood like a regular mechanical car, but when you get into the nuts and bolts of it, it is far different. It's not as much nuts and bolts as, you know, circuit boards and transistors. So we have this amazing screen. There's a depth to this screen unparalleled by any other infotainment system I've seen in a car. It's like an iPad. It's like Apple designed this thing. You know, and Tesla's a vertically integrated company, so they write a lot of their firmware for their components. They make as much of their components as they can in-house, where a lot of other manufacturers, they rely on third-party parts distributors to make certain parts. So you have these car companies that are cobbling together cars, and they might be using a circuit board or a part or a transistor or whatever from one company, while another part is from a different company, and they all have to talk to each other and communicate. And that causes a lot of problems. That's why we're seeing all these open recalls, and it's taking forever for regular auto manufacturers to fix these recalls, you know, months and months, because they don't write the code for, or the firmware for some of these components. They have to call the manufacturer and have them write it, and they have to have it all work together and talk together. Or Tesla writes its own code. They can do a firmware update and do an over-the-air update and fix things in a matter of days, where it takes other manufacturers months. So yeah, going back to this screen, there's a depth to this screen. Unlike any other vehicle, we have the theater mode. You can't do this while you're driving, but while you're parked, you can watch movies. Maybe if your spouse is in the grocery store, or you're doing some fast charging. You have arcades where you can play video games, and you can use the steering wheel and brakes for some of the driving games. You can get like a wireless Xbox style controller to play some of the games. Pretty cool stuff. Then we have the toy box where you can have the car play a light show. You have the silly whoopee cushions. You have the boom box where you can play music through the horn. You can change the sound of a horn. You can make it sound like an old-fashioned car horn, a fart, or a goat. So much stuff. There's a colorizer, so if you wrap your vehicle, you can have your car's avatar match the color of your wrap. There's a multi-track recorder. Some of the stuff is silly. You know, some of the stuff is actually pretty cool. So going over the software screen, so that's the performance logo. 2,869 miles. We have Autopilot, which is amazing traffic-aware cruise control, which allows the vehicle to brake, accelerate, and steer in its own lane. It's not full self-driving, but you can get a lot of mileage out of Autopilot. It's not just for the highway. Just as long as there's lines in the road that the car can read, it will stop and go and move with the flow of traffic. On country roads, it will follow the bends on the country roads for a long time. I've driven a lot of ADAS systems, advanced driver's assist systems, and a lot of other vehicles, and I think Autopilot is the best by a long shot. And what I like about it, if it comes down to a complete stop, you don't have to restart it again. A lot of other cars, when a vehicle comes down to a complete stop and go traffic, you have to re-engage the system. Autopilot, once you put it on, just as long as you keep your hand in the wheel and you're paying attention, you can go all day, go all day with it. But it's not going to stop for stop signs. It's not going to stop for red lights. It's not going to change lanes. It's not full self-driving. Full self-driving is available for $99 a month or $8,000 on this vehicle. This has the latest in technology. It has the hardware for full self-driving computer, so it's ready to go. And if you happen to own a Tesla, if you're a new owner of a Tesla generally will give you like a month free trial. I've been using full self-driving on my Tesla for about 3 years, and it's amazing. I have about a 12-mile commute, and I drive pretty much hands-free the whole way. I don't touch the steering wheel. I have my hands on my lap. The car is merging, passing people. If cars are going too slow, it'll change lanes and pass cars on the highway. It'll get off the highway, get on the highway. It'll stop for stop signs or red lights. It's like a semi-sentient being. It's like a animal or something. Tesla's not beaming this car instructions when you're operating full self-driving. The car is reacting to the environment around it and making decisions on its own. And I can tell you, it's doing really well. And they're not done yet. Every couple months they send an update, and it keeps on getting better and better and better to maybe one day where it doesn't need to be supervised. You don't need to pay attention. You can read a book, take a nap. You can get all that time back that you normally lose through commuting, or maybe potentially in the future. You know, this stuff is not guaranteed, but to me it looks like it's going this way. Maybe this car could be like a robo-taxi for you. So while you're not using it, it can be out there making money, giving people rides, offsetting the cost of vehicle ownership. So that's the beauty of having a vehicle as a robotaxi, so that 98% of the time when you're not using a car, the car can be out there making money for you. And maybe you don't want other people in your car. Well, it's just great to be driven around. I can't tell you how much of a weight, just using Autopilot, I can feel a whole weight lifted off my shoulders when the vehicle takes over the workload of driving and I'm just paying attention. And let's talk to the depths of this car. Like this car is a this car is a supercomputer on wheels, pretty much. I mean, it's amazing. Like, watch this, for example. I don't recommend you messing with this on your own. If you do go in here, don't mess with any stuff. This is service mode. So when you take your car into service, this is what Tesla uses to diagnose issues, make repairs. So this is the whole back end of the vehicle. And look how much information there is. These are all the cameras. This has an amazing dash camera, Sentry mode, so you can pull up live camera views of your smartphone. While the car's parked, it's constantly recording things, so if someone keys your car or bumps into it, believe me, it happens. Here's a video of a car that was parked next to me that someone did a hit and run on, and the person came out and said, "Oh, I noticed you had a Tesla. Can you look on your cameras and see if you could catch them?" And we did. And when you're driving, you know, people are like, "Well, I don't ever want a computer. I don't want a computer driving for me." Well, people aren't that great of drivers. We get distracted, we drink coffee, we go on our phones, we daydream, we space out. This has cameras all the way around it, always paying attention, never being distracted. So it actually makes the vehicle a lot safer. Tesla operating on autopilot or full self-driving statistically is a lot safer than a vehicle with a human driving, believe it or not. Now on top of that, you're still supervising and paying attention in case something does happen on the rare occasion it does get confused. These are all the speakers. By the way, this has an amazing audio system. Look at all these speakers in the vehicle. This is the premium connectivity. This car actually receives cell phone data. So premium connectivity is $10 a month. You can stream music through the vehicle, stream Netflix, things like that. Here's the high voltage battery system. That's the information about that. This is the charging system. There's more information on the high voltage battery. It shows you power distribution. These are your drive units, which are your electric motors. It shows more information on power distribution, interior lighting. This is your coolant system. This is an amazing octo valve heat pump. The heat pumps make the vehicle so much more efficient. And Tesla has, I think, one of the most advanced heat pumps out there in a vehicle. I think one day they actually might start making heat pumps for houses. The TPMS system, the steering, alignment and tires, the brakes. I can go on and on. So normally, you know, on most other cars, you need to get like a snap-on computer or a manufacturer-provided computer to plug into the port of the vehicle and get all the information. Like I said, this car is a supercomputer on wheels. It has all the information already internally. Man, I have a tendency to go on and on about these Teslas, but there's just so much to talk about them. Beautiful styling. We can see we have a more aggressive wheel and tire package, larger brakes. We have the red calipers with the performance. The performance also has a unique front fascia. You can see this splitter right here. Since there's no engine up front, we have a frunk, which is extra storage. It's also a safety feature. You know, the Model 3 is actually one of the safest vehicles on the road. Not only is it one of the quickest, the most technologically advanced, but it's also one of the safest. And even though it's considered a compact, you have lots of interior space. I had that front seat adjusted for my height. I'm 6'2", so I need a lot of leg room, but still with a 6'2" person in front, a 6'2" person can sit in back. My knees aren't hitting the back of that seat. Got plenty of headroom. This is just an amazing amount of space. And also for the 2024 redesign, we got a rear screen. They also added cooled seats in the front. I forgot to mention that. So much to talk about. Previously, you could only get heated seats on a Model 3. Now you have heated and ventilated front seats, heated seats in the rear. You can also play video games, listen to music, adjust the climate control settings. Love this premium white interior. Also lots of space here. Since we're not hampered by a normal configuration of a gas car, there's no drive shafts, gas tanks, exhaust systems. It allows for more interior and storage space. Look at more storage under here. Got a storage pocket on that side. A little bit hard to see, it's dark. Storage spot on that side. Unique rear end styling. We got the little trunk lid spoiler. And this is a really cool feature. This is something that you don't notice, but notice how this part sticks out pretty much further than anything else. Well, Tesla noticed on some of the older Model 3s that they would get, a lot of higher repair costs over rear end collisions. But since this black plastic part sticks out a little bit further, that's going to absorb the majority of the impact in the low speed collision, like little fender bender. Obviously not a high speed collision. So replacing this portion is going to be a lot less expensive than replacing the bumper and painted portions or an internal absorber. So that helps lower ownership costs. Ownership costs, like I said, are very low on this thing, especially us here in the Pacific Northwest. Since we get most of our energy from hydroelectric, we have some of the lowest electricity rates in the whole entire country. Ironically, and some of the most highest gas prices. So you have low maintenance costs, great safety, giant killing performance, unique styling. These things are fantastic. I can't say enough good things about the Model 3 Performance. It's an amazing vehicle, amazing technology. I think it's one of the best EVs out there. Tesla is a tech company. This is not a regular internal combustion car. This is the future in a lot of ways of automotive. And when you have manufacturers that are used to building gas cars, they don't really know how to build electric cars like this. They don't know how to build computers on wheels. It's just like a car company is going to start making smartphones, or they're going to start making PCs or laptops. Well, it's not that easy, so that's why we're seeing a harder transition for a lot of car companies, making an EV that can compete and have the same level of connectivity and software and tech and features as Tesla products. They are on a different level. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.